Hey folks, so I know this isn't super easy to see from your screen here, but maybe you can follow along in your own syllabus. Just want to take a few minutes to kind of go through the syllabus and some of the key items here. So I can't remember if I mentioned in the course intro video or not, but this course, Political Science 2041, is a survey course in that we're surveying a selection of topics relevant to American national government. And those are topics that I've mostly sort of determined myself, although there are certain topics obviously that are they're going to be present in any class. There's a required textbook for the class. It's We the People, An Introduction to American Politics. It's the shorter 8th edition, which is the book has a green cover. There is another book floating out there that's just the standard 8th edition, which is I believe it has maybe a blue cover. If you have this book or you bought this book by mistake, you can actually still use that book. It's the challenge you're going to run into is the page numbers aren't going to necessarily match up, because the shorter 8th edition is mostly the same book. It's just the page numbers don't match up. So if you have issues with that, or you can't find the readings, let me know. If you're in that situation, the best thing to do is just to kind of look for the section headers that I give you, as opposed to the page numbers. And use that. But if you need some help, let me know. I'd be more happy to do that. Office hours are a little bit tricky because I am not on a campus. I teach exclusively online. That being said, I'm always available for conferencing if you'd like. If you want to chat over the phone, or I'm even open to Skype chats if that's something you'd like to do. If you absolutely need to meet me in person, we can set something up and arrange a place to meet, like a Starbucks or something like that. I'm certainly open to doing that. In the course policy section, I mean, most of this is pretty standard boilerplate, but do read the section on academic honesty, particularly as it relates to plagiarism, which we'll talk a little bit more about when we get to our paper. It is expected that you'll access Angel at least once a week in this course. As I sort of talked about, the course proceeds with weekly modules, and so you need to be able to access that every week. As such, the expectation is that you'll have access to computer systems that allow you to do that, and internet access. Always have a backup plan just in case you can't access the internet for some reason. I live down the street from a McDonald's that, in the off chance that my Wi-Fi is down or my internet's down at home, I usually head there to do work. So it'd be good for you to have a plan like that as well. Obviously, each of the campuses have computer centers that are available for you to use as well. So let's talk about the submission assignments and late policies. So whenever I give an assignment and it's due that day, it's due by 11:59 p.m. that day, so the end of the day, before it's technically late. Now, that being said, there's a little asterisk there because I generally will not count something late until I wake up the next morning. So as opposed to you rushing to get it in like right at 11:59, if it's 1 or 2 in the morning, if you need till 1 or 2 in the morning to really get it done and put out a quality product, not that anybody's ever done anything quality at 2 in the morning, then take a little bit of extra time. If generally I'm up at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and so that's usually the standard that I give you a little bit of flexibility there as well. So that being said, don't rush necessarily to get it in by 11:59 p.m., even though that's the technical due date. If I have it by the time I get up in the morning, but I do get up pretty early, then it's usually on time. If you turn something in the next day, 24 hours late, it'll receive a 10% score reduction. And then anything beyond 1 day late, so 2 days or more, is going to be a 20% score reduction. And that generally holds true for the rest of the semester. So I have a lot of students ask me, who'll come and say like, oh, I didn't complete this assignment several weeks ago. Is it worth it for me to do it? The answer is yes, because you're still eligible for up to 80% of that assignment. Now, obviously, there are certain grades that can't be made up. The most important of which is the quiz grades, the reading quizzes, which will have a reading quiz during week 3. That quiz will be open for a specified period of time. If you don't take the quiz during that time period, then unfortunately you'll receive a 0 for that quiz. Now, that being said, I do drop the lowest quiz grade for that reason, and so if you do happen to miss one quiz, it's likely not going to severely impact your grade. but obviously you don't want to miss more than one. We have 2 examinations in this class. It's very important that if you're going to miss an exam and you know ahead of time that you reach out to me beforehand. We can usually work something out. If God forbid an emergency happens or you have a major technological disaster and don't get to take it, just reach out to me as quickly as possible, and we'll see what we can do. You see the note there about disability resources. If that applies to you, if you have a waiver or an agreement with the disability office, there's certain paperwork that has to be to me before I can apply any of those recommended changes. So just make sure you get that paperwork to me. If there's ever a situation where Angel is down for maintenance, and sometimes it happens that I assign something during a maintenance period and I don't realize it, just know that if you have an assignment due during that period, it will not be counted late. I will give you additional time once Angel is back live to take that. So what I want to avoid is anybody freaking out because they can't submit their assignment because Angel's down. As far as attendance goes, like I said, it's required that you be here or that you check in online at least once a week. These first 2 weeks are critical that you do that student introductory message board and then the week 1 assignment, and then also the message board for week 2 that we'll have next week, because the college looks very closely at the first 2 weeks attendance. If I don't know how their system works, but I'm pretty certain that if you miss the first 2 weeks that you're automatically dropped from the class. And so you definitely don't want to allow that to happen. Here's how the grades are compiled this semester. So you have a midterm and final examination. Each one of those is worth 15% of your grade for a total of 30%. We'll have discussion board assignments for you to post. The requirement for those is that you post one original comment and then you reply to at least one other student's comment, so you have a total of 2 posts. Collectively, those will be worth 15%. Weekly assignments. Most weeks you'll have a homework assignment like you do for week 1. That's worth 20% of your total grade. We do have a term paper, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, probably next week, week 2 in the class. It's one paper, but it's actually broken up into 2 parts, two sections, and you'll complete them at different times. The first section is worth 10 points, and then the second section is worth 10 percentage points as well. And then finally the reading quizzes, and there'll be anywhere between 5 to 7 of those. It just sort of depends. I normally teach this on a 12-week express session. This is the first time in a while that I've taught it on a 16-week session, so I got to look at the calendar and see how we're going to arrange that. But collectively, those will be worth 15%, and like I said, I'll drop your lowest quiz grade. Wow, there's some cats fighting in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. As far as the class schedule is concerned, this is how it lays out. So you have the different topics that we'll be covering, and we'll have basically one lecture slide for each week of class. Our midterm exam will be during week 7. It'll be open for you from October 10th to October 14th, and we'll talk more about that obviously when we get to it. It's going to cover all the material from weeks 1 through 7. So actually, the midterm exam is week 8. I think I said 7. Sorry about that. Starting in week 9, we cover new material. And everything from week 9 to week 16 will be covered on the final exam, which will be open on November 6th through 5 p.m. not November, but December 6th to December 10th. The final exam is not cumulative, so it'll only cover that material from week 9 on. You'll see that I've given you the whole week of Thanksgiving off, so there's no course material that week, so enjoy that week off. So that's it for the syllabus. If you have any questions about any specific items, let me know, or grading policies. I would advise that sometimes Angel's a little bit tricky with grading, and sometimes grades show up or don't show up. So if you have any questions about your grade in Angel, just let me know. The end-all be-all is my grade is the grade book that I keep, and that's the official grade book, and it's the most up-to-date and it's the most accurate. And I always check it against Angel as well, just to make sure things are consistent. But if you see something that doesn't make sense or you're missing a grade, just always reach out to me. Thanks a lot. If you have any questions about the syllabus, do get in touch with me.